I'm Trey Brown.
I'm Bailey White.
We're with Velocity Sailing 1.
Trey, how many years you been doing the Tybee 500?
This is my 6th year.
6 years. Out of 8, that's good. How about yourself?
It's my second.
Second year. What do you think so far?
It's been a good race. Had a really good time.
Have you guys been sailing together long?
Yeah, a year maybe.
Yeah, about a year. Yeah.
What are some of the things you like? What attracts you to the race? And what are some of the things you don't like?
Well, I've always liked ocean racing. I used to live out on the West Coast and raced to Hawaii and did stuff from San Francisco to LA and stuff like that. And this is like that, except instead of on big boats, you're on catamarans, so you go even faster and it's more extreme.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you get out there and you'll be beating the weather and you'll be like, I hate this race, I'm never going to do this again, I'm going to be land crew next year. And you're just getting beat up, and then you have the last 20 miles, it's a screaming reach, and you're having a blast, and you're like, I can't wait till tomorrow.
Trey, one of the other things that we're trying to do is to reach out to some other sailors that want to do this race as a confidence builder. What are some of the things you would tell them to attract them to the race, to give them the confidence you can do it? Yeah, your first year you might mess up. Everybody's going to mess up. But what are some of the advice that you give these guys that are kind of sitting on the fence of whether they could do it or not?
So the sailing is probably the easiest part. The hardest part is actually making yourself get to the starting line and keeping your boat and your team together for the week. So there's a lot of things and a lot of people that you can put around you to make that a lot easier for yourself. And that's one thing we try to do as a group with Velocity Sailing, is to create that support from the land side so that you can keep sailing on the water side. So
we talked to your team manager last night. She did a great job. We had her and Laurel Sonicler together, and they did a great job here in talking about what from a team manager's perspective of what they had to, how they had to put it together to see to it that you guys get what you want. I'm gonna tell you, if you ain't paving the ground out front of that girl right there, they're doing a great job. One of the other things is putting teams together, because you seem to set the rail on this about how many teams that you brought in kind of under the Team Velocity banner, and that's the other thing that comes up, is the cost of it, other than just to preparing for the race. And what is some of the suggestions you would say to, say, a couple of teams that wanted to get together, and just how they could pitch in and work it where they can afford to do it?
Well, working together gives you kind of economies of scale. You travel together, you can share hotel rooms. I mean, we pretty much put a package together that a lot of the teams are using now, that you can do this whole race, entry fee and everything, assuming you have a boat for less than $3,000.
See, that's
a lot cheaper than a lot of other teams are doing it for by themselves.
That's a good point. In talking with Misha earlier, and one of the things that we brought up in his conversation again was how we could attract some more European teams to come over and participate in this, because he said they're there and they want to do this race, but in getting over here is not their problem. It's because they're coming into their prime season of sailing, of having their boat, but where we can find boats and equipment that they can use, and that's good advice for them that's coming over and doing like a package deal.
Yeah. I think that establishing a good relationship with a catamaran dealer in the region would probably help a lot with that. I highly doubt you'll get a manufacturer maybe to support, but I think that you could probably get a dealer on board that would be willing to do a reasonable charter fee on used boats, or maybe new boats, but I would say that used boats would be a much easier thing to find. But the dealers are going to know where the boats are. They're in somebody's backyard that have maybe some grass growing around them and need a little love. So these European guys are very good at coming over and flipping a boat. They go through it and take it all apart and put it back together, make it fast, and at the end of the race, the guy that owns the boat has a pretty tricked out boat and maybe a little money on the side. And, it's definitely a win-win situation. I mean,
what's one of the things you don't like about the race?
I don't like getting sunburned.
Yeah. Look at this. Okay. This is
I'm
bad.
roasted. We got a big wave that came over and took off both of our hats and his goggles, and we fried 2 days ago. I mean, I'm in a little bit of pain.
I'd raced the whole leg, couldn't see. I mean, just water.
He literally
he
watched backwards, and when I strapped out really, really hard, he would sheet in because he knows that we were about to bear off down a wave.
Are you having fun?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's just as much about the people as it is the race.
I think it is too.